No one noticed the elevator at first. That's how it always starts. Ethan had worked in the building for almost 2 years. Same routine, same floor, same pool. Nothing ever changed. Until one night, everything did. It was late, almost midnight. The office was empty. Lights dim. Silence everywhere. Ethan rubbed his eyes, staring at the screen. Too many hours, too much work. I should go home, he muttered. He shut down his computer, grabbed his jacket, and walked toward the elevators. There were usually 3, left, middle, right. But that night, there were 4. Ethan stopped. What? He stepped closer. 1, 2, 3, and a 4th one. At the far end. Slightly darker, as if the light above it was weaker. Ethan frowned. That wasn't here before, he was sure. 2 years, every day, there had only ever been 3. He looked around, empty hallway, no one to ask, no sound. Maybe I just didn't notice, he whispered. It made sense, kind of. But something felt off. That feeling, deep in your chest, that something isn't right. The first 3 elevators were busy, lights blinking, moving between floors, but the 4th one was still, waiting. Ding! The doors opened. Slowly, too slowly. Ethan hesitated. He should have taken the others. He knew that, but something about this one pulled tight. The elevator was clean. Too clean. No scratches, no marks, like it had never been used. He stepped in. The doors closed behind him. Silently, he turned toward the panel and froze. There were no floor numbers, only buttons. Unlabeled. What the? Ethan pressed one. Nothing. Pressed another. Still nothing. Then the elevator moved, without him choosing anything. Down. Fast. Too fast. His heart started pounding. This isn't right. The lights flickered, once, twice, then stopped. The elevator slowed, and stopped. Ding. The doors opened. Darkness. Complete. No lights. No hallway. Just black. Ethan didn't move. What floor is this? He whispered. No answer. Of course. He leaned forward slightly, trying to see. Nothing. Then, a sound. From inside the darkness. Breathing. Ethan stepped back instantly. Nope. He slammed the close button. The doors didn't move. The breathing got louder, closer. Close, he shouted. Nothing. A shape began to form, barely visible. Standing, just outside the elevator. Tall, still, watching. Ethan's heart felt like it would explode. Go up, he screamed, pressing every button. The lights inside the elevator flickered violently. Then, the doors slammed shut. The elevator shot upward, faster than before. Ethan collapsed against the wall, breathing heavily. What was that? The elevator stopped again. Ding! The doors opened. Normal floor, lights, hallway. Everything normal. Ethan stumbled out immediately. Turning back, the elevator doors closed. And the panel showed only 3 elevators again. The 4th one was gone. Ethan stood there, frozen. No. The next morning, he checked again. 3 elevators, normal, like nothing ever happened. He asked security, "Hey, was there ever a 4th elevator here?" The guard looked confused. "Oh no," Ethan forced a laugh. "Yeah, thought so." But as he walked away, the guard called after him. "Wait," Ethan turned. The guard frowned slightly. "What time did you leave last night?" "Late," Ethan replied. "Why?" The guard hesitated, then said something that made Ethan's blood run cold. "Because around midnight." He leaned closer, lowering his voice. One of the elevators went down, to a floor that doesn't exist. Ethan didn't laugh this time. The guard's words stayed in the air, heavy, uncomfortable. To a floor that doesn't exist. Ethan felt a cold wave run through his body. "What do you mean?" he asked slowly. The guard looked around, as if he wasn't sure he should continue. Then he leaned back in his chair. "I mean exactly what I said." Ethan stepped closer. "The system logs elevators," the guard continued. "Every movement, every floor." Ethan nodded, trying to stay calm. "Last night, at 12:03 a.m., the guard said, one of them went below the basement." Ethan's heart skipped. Below the basement, he repeated. There is no floor below the basement, the guard replied. Silence. Ethan swallowed. What did it show? The guard hesitated, then said, B13. Ethan froze. There's no B13, he said quickly. I know, the guard replied. The air between them grew heavy. Ethan forced a smile. Must be a glitch, he said. The guard didn't smile back. Yeah, he said quietly. But glitches don't stay open for 3 minutes. Ethan didn't respond. Because suddenly, he remembered something. The doors. They didn't close. How long did it stay open? Ethan asked. The guard looked at the screen behind him. 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Ethan's chest tightened. 3:17. Why did that number feel familiar? He left without saying anything else. But his mind wouldn't stop. All day he couldn't focus. Numbers blurred on his screen. Voices faded into the background. Everything felt distant, unreal. That night, he stayed late again. Not because of work, because he wanted to see it, the elevator. You're insane, he whispered to himself. Maybe, but he needed to know. 1:58 p.m. The office was empty again. Silent. Waiting. Ethan stood in front of the elevators. 3 doors. Normal. 1:59 p.m. Nothing. 12 a.m. Still nothing. Ethan exhaled slowly. See? Nothing. He turned. Ding. He froze. Slowly, he looked back. 4 elevators. Again. The 4th one stood there. Same place. Same dim light. Waiting. Ethan's heart pounded. No! The doors opened. Slow. Silent. Inside, darkness. Not like before. Deeper. Heavier. Ethan took a step back. Every instinct told him, don't go in. But something else pulled him forward. Just look, he whispered. Just look and leave. He stepped inside. The doors closed instantly, faster this time. The panel, still blank. No numbers. Then, the elevator moved. Down. Faster. More violent. The lights flickered. Not random. Rhythmic. Like a pattern. Ethan pressed against the wall. This isn't real. The elevator stopped. Ding. The doors opened. Same darkness. But this time, something else. A sound. Footsteps. Ethan's blood turned cold. Not one. Multiple. Slow. Dragging. Coming closer. Shapes appeared. More than before. 3. Standing in the dark. Ethan couldn't move. His body refused. Then, one stepped forward. Into the faint light. A man. Or what used to be one. His face was wrong. Not damaged. Distorted. Like something had stretched it. Pulled it. His eyes locked onto Ethan. And he smiled. You came back. Ethan's breath caught. His voice. Familiar. No. Ethan whispered. The figure stepped closer. You don't remember me? Ethan shook his head. But deep inside, something twisted. I worked here, the figure continued. His voice echoing unnaturally. Same as you. Ethan's mind raced. That's not possible. The figure tilted his head. 3 years ago, he said. Ethan's stomach dropped. There was an accident, the figure continued. Elevator malfunction. Ethan's heart pounded faster. He remembered. A story, a rumor. Someone disappeared. They said I died, the figure said softly. Ethan stepped back. No, the figure smiled wider. They were wrong. The other shapes moved closer, now clearer, more faces, more people, all watching him, all smiling. You're not supposed to be here, Ethan said, his voice shaking. The first figure stopped, then whispered, Neither were we. The elevator lights flickered violently. Ethan slammed the buttons again. Nothing. The figures kept moving. Closer, closer. You shouldn't have come back, one of them said. Ethan's heart was racing uncontrollably. Let me go, he shouted. The first figure leaned in. Close. Too close? You don't leave, he whispered. You stay. The lights went out. Darkness. Complete. And then a hand touched Ethan's shoulder. The touch was cold. Not just cold, wrong. Ethan froze. Every instinct screamed at him to move, but his body refused. The hand tightened slightly on his shoulder. You shouldn't panic, the voice whispered behind him. It was close, too close. Ethan's breath became shallow. Turn around, the voice said. Slow, calm, controlled. Ethan didn't want to, but something forced him. Something inside his head, not his own thought, and he turned. The face was inches away, the same man, the same distorted smile. But now Ethan could see more. His skin wasn't just pale, it was stretched like it didn't belong to him anymore. His eyes too wide, too aware. "You're early," the man said. Ethan shook his head. "I don't belong here." The man tilted his head. "None of us did." The other figures moved closer, surrounding him, blocking the elevator entrance. Ethan's heart pounded violently. "I'm leaving," he said. But even he didn't believe it. The man smiled again. "No one leaves B13. The name hit differently this time. B13. It wasn't just a glitch. It was real. "What is this place?" Ethan whispered. The man didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked around, at the darkness, at the others, then back at Ethan. "This," he said slowly, "is the space between being forgotten and being gone." Ethan didn't understand, but he felt it, deep inside. "We were like you," another voice said. Ethan turned. A woman stepped forward, her face blurred at the edges, as if reality couldn't hold her shape. "We worked," she said. "We lived normal lives. Then we disappeared," another added. "No one came looking," the first man said. Ethan's chest tightened. "No, that's not true." The man leaned closer. "Do you know how many people vanish in buildings like this?" Ethan didn't answer, because he didn't know. "Enough," the man said. "Silence." Ethan felt something shift again. Inside him, a memory, faint, blurry. "Wait," he whispered. Something wasn't right. He looked at the man again, really looked. "That face, that voice, I've seen you before," Ethan said slowly. The man smiled. "Of course you have." Ethan's mind raced. "Where? When?" Then it hit him. The photo. In the break room. A missing employee. 3 years ago. "You were reported missing," Ethan said. The man nodded slightly. "And you read it," he said. Ethan stepped back. "No." "You stood right there," the man continued, pointing vaguely into nothingness. "You looked at my picture." Ethan's heart dropped. "I didn't know." "Of course you didn't," the man said calmly. "No one ever does." The air felt heavier now, thicker. "You're not dead," Ethan said. The man's smile faded, just slightly. "Not in the way you think." Ethan's breathing became uneven. "Then what are you?" The man stepped even closer, so close Ethan could feel his breath, cold, dry. "We are what happens." A pause. "When the world stops remembering you." Silence. Ethan shook his head. "That doesn't make sense." "It will," the woman said softly. Ethan turned to her. "When you stay long enough." "No," Ethan said quickly. "I'm not staying." The man looked at him carefully, then asked, "Are you sure you can leave?" Ethan froze. Because suddenly, he realized something terrifying. He couldn't remember how he got here. Not clearly. The office, the hallway, the elevator. It all felt distant, like a dream. "What did you do to me?" he whispered. The man didn't answer. Instead, he pointed behind Ethan. Slowly, Ethan turned. The elevator doors, still open. But the hallway was gone, replaced with darkness. Endless. Ethan's chest tightened. "No, no, no. You came down," the man said quietly. "And now, you belong here." Ethan stumbled back, panic rising fast. "I'm not staying here," he shouted. The figures didn't react. They just watched, smiling, because they had heard that before. Many times. Ethan ran toward the elevator, through the darkness. His hands slammed against the walls. Nothing. No buttons. No exit. Just black. And behind him, footsteps, slow, following. "You can run," the voice echoed. "But you're already here." Ethan stopped, breathing heavily. His mind was breaking. "What do you want from me?" he shouted. Silence. Then the man's voice again. Right behind him. Nothing. A pause. "We just need you to stay, so someone else can come." Ethan's blood ran cold. "What?" The man leaned closer, whispering, "That's how it works." A sound echoed suddenly. Ding. Ethan turned. The elevator. Back, doors open, light inside. Normal. Hope exploded inside him. He ran, jumped, sighed, turned around. The figures stood at the entrance, watching, smiling. "Go," the man said softly. Ethan didn't hesitate. The doors slammed shut. The elevator shot upward, fast, violent. Ethan collapsed to the floor, crying, shaking. No, no. The elevator stopped. Ding. The doors opened. Office floor, lights, normal. Ethan crawled out, breathing heavily, alive. He turned back. 3 elevators, no 4th. No B13. He laughed, weak, broken. "I'm out." But as he stood up, something felt wrong. Too quiet, too empty. He looked around. No people, no sound, nothing. Then he saw it, a missing poster. On the wall, fresh, new. He stepped closer, slowly, and his heart stopped. Because the face on the poster was his. Ethan didn't blink. He couldn't. The poster trembled slightly in his hand. Or maybe his hand was the one shaking. It was him, same face, same eyes. But the photo was different. Older, not older by years, older by something else. Tired, empty, forgotten, missing since. Ethan's eyes moved down slowly. 3 days ago. No. The word barely left his lips. No, that's not possible. He dropped the paper, stepped back, looking around the office. Everything looked normal. Too normal. Desks, chairs, screens, all exactly where they should be. But something was missing. Life. "Hello," he called out. No answer. His voice echoed slightly. Too much. Ethan walked through the office. Step by step, searching, calling, nothing. Then, a sound, distant, faint. Footsteps. Ethan froze. "Hello," he called again. The footsteps stopped. Silence. Then, a voice. "Ethan?" Heart jumped. That voice, he knew it. "Mark?" he said. From behind one of the cubicles, a man stepped out. Mark. His coworker. But something was wrong. His movements, too slow. His eyes, not focused. "Where have you been?" Mark asked. Ethan stepped toward him quickly. I was here." "I never left," Mark frowned. "No, you disappeared." Ethan shook his head. "No, I didn't." "You didn't show up for 3 days," Mark said. "Your phone's off. No one can reach you." Ethan's chest tightened. "No, that's not real." Mark stepped closer, looking at him carefully. "You look different," he said quietly. Ethan froze. "Different? What do you mean?" Mark hesitated. Then said, "Like you didn't sleep." Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. Didn't sleep. His mind flashed back. The elevator. The darkness. 13. "I need to check something," Ethan said suddenly. He turned, walked fast, toward the elevators. Mark called after him, "Ethan, wait." But he didn't stop. He reached the hallway. 3 elevators. Normal. He stood there, breathing heavily. "Please," he whispered. Nothing happened. Mark walked up beside him. "What are you doing?" he asked. Ethan didn't answer. He just stared, waiting. Seconds passed. Nothing. Ethan let out a shaky breath. "It's gone," he said quietly. Mark frowned. "What is?" Ethan turned to him. "The 4th elevator." Mark blinked. "There are only 3. Ethan laughed softly. "I know." Silence. Then, ding, both of them froze. Slowly, they turned. 4 elevators. The 4th one, back. Mark stepped back instantly. "What the hell is that?" he whispered. Ethan didn't answer, because now, it wasn't just him. Mark saw it too. The doors opened. Darkness inside, but not empty. Something moved. Mark grabbed Ethan's arm. "Don't go in," he said quickly. Ethan didn't move. His eyes locked onto the darkness, because this time, he saw something new. Inside the elevator, there was a reflection, not in a mirror, in the darkness itself, and that reflection was him, but not the same. This version of Ethan was standing still, inside, watching, and smiling. Ethan's heart stopped. "No!" The reflection moved, raised its hand, and slowly pressed a button. A button Ethan couldn't see. Ding! The elevator began to close. Mark pulled Ethan back. "What are you doing?" he shouted. The doors slammed shut. The fourth elevator disappeared again. Only 3 remained. Silence filled the hallway. Mark stared at Ethan. "You saw that, right?" he asked. Ethan didn't answer, because his mind was breaking. That reflection, that version of him, it wasn't trapped. It was in control. And suddenly, Ethan understood something terrifying. He didn't escape B-13. He replaced someone. And now something else had taken his place. Mark didn't speak. He couldn't. Neither could Ethan. They stood there, staring at the empty space where the fourth elevator had just been. "Tell me that wasn't real," Mark whispered. Ethan swallowed. "I can't." Silence stretched between them. Heavy, uncomfortable. "Ethan," Mark said slowly, "what is going on?" Ethan didn't answer immediately. "Because how do you explain something you don't even understand? I need to go back," Ethan said suddenly. Mark's head snapped toward him. "Are you insane?" Ethan shook his head. "No, I need answers. You almost disappeared," Mark said. "And now you want to go back into that thing?" Ethan looked at him, tired, broken. "It's not going to stop," he said quietly. Mark hesitated, because deep down, he knew Ethan was right. "If you go," Mark said, "I'm coming with you." Ethan frowned. "No, yes. It's too dangerous. So is leaving you alone," Mark replied. Silence. Then Ethan nodded. "Okay." That night they waited, same time, same place, 11:59 p.m. The hallway was empty again. The air felt different, heavier, as if something was already there, watching. "Say something," Mark whispered. Ethan shook his head. "Just wait." 12 a.m., 12:01. Still nothing. Mark let out a breath. "Maybe it won't come back." Ding. Both of them froze. Slowly they turned. 4 elevators. The fourth one stood there, waiting. Mark stepped back. No way. The doors opened. Darkness. But this time, no shapes, no movement. Just black. Ethan stepped forward. Mark grabbed his arm. "Last chance to walk away," he said. Ethan looked at him, then at the elevator. "I already walked away once," and he stepped inside. Mark followed. The doors slammed shut instantly. The elevator dropped. Fast. Violent. Mark grabbed the wall. "What the hell is this?" Ethan didn't answer. Because he already knew. The lights flickered. Then stopped. The elevator slowed. Ding. The doors opened. B-13. But this time, it wasn't dark. Dim lights flickered overhead, revealing something far worse. A hallway. Endless. Lined with doors. Each one slightly open. Each one occupied. Mark stepped back immediately. "What is this place?" Ethan walked forward slowly. Inside the first room, a man sat at a desk, typing, over and over. Same movement, same motion. He didn't look up, didn't react. "Hey!" Mark called. No response. Ethan stepped closer, looked at the screen. It was blank. The man kept typing anyway. "He doesn't see us," Mark whispered. Ethan moved to the next door. Inside, a woman stood by a window, looking out. But the window showed nothing, just darkness. She didn't move, didn't blink. "They're stuck," Ethan said quietly. Mark's voice shook. "Like, trapped in a loop." Ethan nodded slowly. "This isn't a floor," he said. "It's a place for people who were replaced." Mark looked at him. "Replaced?" Ethan turned to him. "When you leave B-13, you don't come back alone." Silence. Mark shook his head. No, that's not." A sound interrupted him. Footsteps. Behind them. Slow. Ethan didn't turn immediately, because he already knew. But Mark did, and when he saw, his face drained of all color. "Ethan," he whispered. "Turn around." Ethan closed his eyes. Then slowly turned. Standing there, in the hallway, was Ethan. The other Ethan. The one from the reflection. Perfect, clean, normal. Smiling, Mark stumbled back. No. The other Ethan stepped forward. "You shouldn't have come back," he said calmly. Ethan stared at him. "You're not me." The other Ethan smiled wider. "I am now." Silence. Mark looked between them, terrified. "What is this?" he whispered. The other Ethan turned to him. You were never supposed to see this. Mark took another step back. I'm leaving, he said quickly. He turned, ran toward the elevator, but the doors were gone, replaced by a wall. No, no, Mark shouted. The other Ethan watched calmly. You don't leave B13, he said. Mark turned back, desperate. Ethan, do something, he screamed. Ethan didn't move, because now he understood everything. This place, this system, it needed balance. Someone leaves, someone stays. And this time, it wasn't going to be him. Mark's breathing was out of control. Fast, broken, desperate. There has to be a way out, he shouted. His voice echoed through the endless hallway. But no one answered. No one ever did. Ethan stood still, facing himself. The other Ethan didn't move either, just watched, calm, like he had all the time in the world. You understand now, the other Ethan said. Not a question, a statement. Ethan nodded slowly. Yes. Mark looked between them. What is he talking about? Ethan didn't turn. This place, he said quietly. It's not random. The other Ethan smiled. It's precise, Ethan continued. It doesn't take people by accident. Mark shook his head. No, this is insane. It replaces them, Ethan said. Silence. Mark's voice dropped. Replaces? Ethan finally turned to him. His expression, different now, colder, clearer. When I left last time, Ethan said, I thought I escaped. He looked back at the other version of himself. But I didn't. The other Ethan stepped closer. You were allowed to leave. Mark's chest tightened. Allowed. Nodded slowly. This place doesn't let people go. The other Ethan continued. It trades them. The words hit like a hammer. One stays, Ethan said. One leaves. Mark stepped back. No. His voice cracked. You're saying Ethan didn't let him finish. It's already decided. Silence. Mark's eyes widened. What? The other Ethan tilted his head slightly. Think about it, he said calmly. You came here together, but only one of you is needed outside. Mark's breathing became shallow. No, that's not how this works. Ethan looked at him, long, quiet, then said, That's exactly how it works. Mark's face changed. Fear turned into something else. Realization. No, he whispered. He looked, Ethan. You're not thinking. Ethan stepped closer. I already did. Mark shook his head violently. No, we find another way. There is no other way. You don't know that. I do, Ethan said. His voice empty. Mark's hands trembled. You'd leave me here? He asked. Ethan didn't answer. Because he didn't need to. The silence said everything. Mark stepped back slowly. You're not him, he whispered. Ethan's expression didn't change. You already changed, Mark said. The other Ethan watched, smiling. He always does, he said quietly. Mark's eyes, with panic. No, I'm not staying here. He ran. Down the endless hallway, doors passing, rooms filled with people, trapped, repeating, forgotten. Help me, Mark screamed. No one answered. No one ever did. Ethan didn't follow. He just stood there, watching. The other Ethan stepped beside him. You made the right choice, he said. Ethan didn't respond. 'Cause deep inside, something was breaking. But something else was taking its place. A sound echoed. Ding. Ethan turned. The elevator. Back. Doors open. Light inside. Normal. Real. The other Ethan stepped back. It's time, he said. Ethan hesitated. Just for a second. Then he walked forward. Step by step. Into the elevator. He turned once more. The hallway. Empty. Mark. Gone. Or maybe still running. The doors began to close. And just before they shut completely, Ethan heard it. A distant scream. Mark's voice. Fading. Then, silence. The elevator moved. Up. Fast. The lights stabilized. Everything became normal again. Ding. The doors opened. Office floor. Bright. Alive. People walking, talking, working. Like nothing ever happened. Ethan stepped out. Calm. Clean. Normal. He walked past the reception desk. The guard looked at him. Long night? He asked. Ethan smiled slightly. Yeah, he said, then walked away. Behind him, the guard frowned. Something felt off, but he couldn't explain it. He turned to his screen and didn't notice the missing poster on the wall had changed. The face on it was no longer Ethan. It was Mark.